Hey, it's Rick here, and welcome back to Humaning, a podcast where I talk to people about the imperfect art of being a bloody human. Today I've been talking with Pete Tansley. Pete and we kind of just swapped stories about chasing approval, hitting rock bottom, doing therapy that actually helps, and then kind of coming home to what matters. And for us, that was health and family, and just being comfortable being the version of ourselves that we are. So I hope you get something from this conversation. I personally loved it, and I'll speak to you soon. Pete Tansley, how are you, man?
Man, I'm really good. Feels great to be here. Big full circle moment.
We were both having the same thoughts this morning as we kind of mentally prepared for this.
Yeah, I was trying to, somewhere around 15 years was that first chat, I think.
Yeah. Let's come back to that because there's merit in that. I think it's quite cool. Yeah, thanks for coming on. I like to put a check-in at the start of every podcast. Let's just stop a little bit before we get into all the words and the stories, and just what's it like to be you physically, mentally, emotionally right now as we sit here?
Emotionally, I'm feeling really grateful right now. I had some good news with Dad's health. And out of that, a lot of gratitude for where I'm at and my health and my family's health. Physically, I'm feeling really sharp. Just came off a 48-hour fast.
Nice.
Broke that last night. Emotionally, a lot of joy right now. I also just got back from a week on the boat in the Whitsunday, so I feel like that and
a good time.
That and the fast and the good news with Dad. I'm feeling genuinely really fucking stoked right now.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I walked in for our study. We've got to do therapy every couple of weeks. I walked into the therapist the other day, and I'm like, dude, I've got fucking nothing. I'm feeling so good. And it was really cool to see what work could be done from that foundation of just like, I'm not in crisis or stress, or I'm not taken over by drama. It's like, I'm feeling fucking good right now. So yeah, I'm stoked with that.
Love
cool. Me, physically, I've just started a new cycle of training this week. So there's some new exercises, some new rep ranges, some new movements that the body hasn't done for a while, and I'm loving it.
Like the sandbag?
Love the sandbag. Yeah. Just I'm actually one of the guys that's been on the podcast, Barney. We've been doing some work together, and he's doing a 1K sandbag walk every day in October, I think. And it just got me thinking. I'm like, I've got a 40-kilo sandbag. I should start using it more. So yeah, I've just been throwing that in a little bit more.
Is that how heavy he's going?
Nah, he's heavier. He's probably 20 kilos bigger than me.
Yeah.
And he's got a 80 and a 90.
Wow.
Just walks around with them. Yeah, he's a strong dude. For time, 1K for time.
Love that.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Cool little challenge. So physically feeling good. Today's my rest day. Walk the dog. The sun's out. Just feel, pretty similar. Like just a bit alive, really. Mentally, feeling mentally resourced. So it's been a really big week last week mentally, and then this week I'm noticing that it's not as big. So just feeling the capacity or the resource a little bit more of clarity and making decisions and seeing shit I've got to do, and not being like, oh, I've got to juggle all this. So feeling that. Emotionally, there's a little bit of joy in there. There's a little bit of excitement about what's going to come from this. Yeah, that's me.
Thanks.
So how do we know each other, man? Like, where did we first run into each other?
My memory, correct me if I'm wrong, was, and this is pre-social media, was an email from you to come on your then teleclass podcast. I mean, you were very early on that scene. To your credit, like podcasting wasn't really a thing then, I don't think. But it was a pre-recorded call that you sent to your membership or you sent to your coaching.
Yeah.
And I want to say 2010-ish because my gym opened in 2009.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you found me. Back then I was doing like backlinks and blogging.
Yeah.
And I was going hard on that. I think maybe we were in a similar, I don't know, maybe you remember how you originally found me.
Yeah, I think it was that. But I also think it was the early days where I was just starting to be active on Facebook. So I think because I was doing business coaching for fitness industry, I was just expanding my world in that, up here anyway. Yeah, and I reached out. I remember I came, saw your place. I think we had a coffee. Just hey, random stranger, how are you? And then we did a recorded interview that I sent out to my crew.
I have no idea what I said, but I remember the whole process. Yeah,
we would have both, knowing us pretty well, had some really like what we thought was great stuff about running a small fitness business. Like would have been up and about, you know. And it'd be pretty funny to listen to that now.
It would be. I think like my memory of myself back then was like a little bit like probably toxically, but overly positive all the time, and everything was always great. And but I have no idea what we spoke about. Maybe some sales stuff and some delivery stuff, perhaps. Yeah.
So a little bit of water has been under the bridge since then. Yeah. What was life like for you 15 years ago? Like what was the world of Pete Tansley like, both externally and internally?
Big chip on my shoulder back then.
Really?
Oh yeah. I really wanted to prove myself to the world. A few steps back from that, I was working at a university gym, and in my head, I always wanted to open a business, and I knew it was going to be a gym.
Yeah.
And I thought I needed a business degree, so I was studying a double in commerce and law at Bond Uni, whilst working full time at the gym. And pretty good perk. My girlfriend at the time, who became my wife, was also working for the university, and we got free. We were called Res Fellows, so we lived in a tower, like building for free, got free food. In exchange, would kind of manage the residents in our tower, and they'd come to us if they're missing home. A lot of American students. But I was like, my boss is an idiot. Like every 21-year-old thinks. My boss is an idiot. Screw this. I want to go out on my own. And Nicole's dad was a client of mine, and he was super successful in business, a PT client. We trained 3 times a week, and he'd bring a different car every session, and really looked up to this guy. And I was telling him about exam week and these things I'm studying. He's like, tell me more about what you're studying in business. And I told him these things, like it's like big business stuff, right? Like mergers and acquisitions and big leadership models. And he kind of spat his coffee out and was like, "Pete, we never use that." He had a retail store with 100 plus stores.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Pete, we never use this stuff. Are you studying to go work for Macquarie Bank, or do you want to open your own business?" And he gave me this massive permission slip to be just like, fuck uni. None of my mates, all his friends had businesses in similar fields.
Yeah.
None of them have a business degree. And it was a real permission slip to be like, I think the next day I dropped out.
Yeah, right.
And we spoke about my first studio after that. And that was my first mentor, if you will, like in an unofficial sense over coffee, just give me this permission slip to be like, you don't need a business degree to start a business.
And was that contributing to the chip on the shoulder in regards to, I want to show people that you don't need a degree? Or was it something else?
I think back then it was like, I think it was something else. I think I was trying to prove to probably my parents that I'm this go-getter,
Yeah.
I used to obsess over like this BRW rich list under 30 and stuff, and thought I wanted 100 gyms at the time, and I don't think I actually wanted any of that.
Yeah.
I wanted the recognition or the feeling of building that, but I could think of nothing worse than 100 gyms.
Yeah.
You know, like buried in that admin side of things. So I think it was really trying to prove, and looking back on that now, my dad and I weren't speaking. He was going through his own stuff with his divorce and alcoholism. And so I think it was really just craving for that recognition, to be seen from him,
Yeah. Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a pretty extreme way to do it, to try to open a business and try to get that recognition. But I honestly thought that would bring a lot of respect from others as well. But I think at the root of it was family.
I'm smiling because I've got a really similar story, but different circumstances, you know.
Mm.
And I think part of my story was after burning out with the CrossFit gym. It was a really similar pattern that I realized was I'm pushing myself so hard because I'm still trying to make my fucking dad proud at 40. And ouch. You know, like, and when I first realized that with some help, I was pretty hard on myself. You know, like I was pretty critical. But I kind of now see it as it kind of makes sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My system appreciates validation, especially from the one person that, you know, I want it from the most. So yeah, I feel you on that.
I think a lot of people we admire in business or sport or whatever field probably have something similar, right? Like an unhealthy desire to prove something.
Yeah. So what were the knock-on effects of that for you back then? Like what was the literal expression of the chip on the shoulder and wanting to make dad proud?
One of them, after our interview, maybe a year after that, the location I decided that I had sucked. The parking was horrible. It was just a little bit hard to find, and we outgrew it pretty quickly. So a friend of mine said, "Oh, Pete, there's a gym up the road. He's looking to sell." This is one of the first 24-hour gyms on the Gold Coast, and this was around maybe October or November. And I'll tell you why I remember that in a moment. So we started chatting about buying his business and keeping it going, and then bringing my sort of PT clients into the 24-hour gym.
Yep.
And on paper, it looked like a pretty good deal. And Barry, who my soon-to-be father-in-law in this period, said, "Pete, just take your time. He wants to probably wrap this up before Christmas. You're in no rush. Take your time with this deal."
Yep.
And I ignored that and rushed it and looked over some numbers that were slightly cooked.
Yep.
To inflate the sale, because I really wanted to get to. We were going away together to Kangaroo Island for Christmas, and I really wanted to get there and say the deal's done. So I rushed it.
Pause there for a sec.
Yeah.
What's underneath that? What were you really after?
I guess just external praise or validation that you're a go-getter. You're the man. Yeah.
Cool.
You're one of us. Yeah. This guy's 40 years older than me with, you know, but I wanted to be seen as
welcome. You belong.
You're welcome to the club. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I knocked it out.
No, that's a good point to make, because it led me to rush the decision and sign these papers to transfer this lease. And he probably doubled the value of the business. He probably definitely saw this young guy.
Yep.
There was no one else interested in the business. I remember him telling me that. So it was just me. And I massively overpaid.
Yep.
By like $200,000 or something. So that decision set me back. I learned a lot from it. So I'm, you know, everyone says they're grateful, but I learned a lot from that decision, but it really fucked me up financially because I
Fully.
double paid a business that was kind of barely breaking even.
Yeah. How old were you then?
This was pre-kids. 25, 26.
Yeah.
You know, a few semesters of a business degree, read a few Richard Branson books, thinking I was it, you know?
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Mm.
And all my mates were, you know, finishing uni, traveling the world. And I was like, no, I'm going to like my 20s, it's going to be the decade, you know?
Yep. Make it happen.
I'm going to be locked in by 30.
Yeah. How do you feel about that guy now looking back, like kind of 12 years later?
Probably just needed a hug, really. I think like slow down a bit.
Yep.
Travel. You got plenty of time.
Yeah.
What's the rush?
Again, I really have some parallels with that.
Yeah.
Around like when I finished uni, I moved to Brisbane and worked in a gym, and the guy that I was working in the gym with, a young guy, it was Brad Sugar's younger brother. And Brad Sugar's from Action International, the business coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I was already like, my old man had always run his own businesses, and I was already like, let's fucking dig in early. And then I just landed at this dude's house. We were going to write a business plan to take over the personal training at the gym and cut a deal and do all that. And then like Brad Sugars just rolls in. I'm like, fucking hell. I'd read some of his books already, like, and it just took me down a path of like leverage and systemization and all that. And I just went so knee deep into it.
That was the first ever business event I went to. Brad
Right.
Sugars. His one night thing in Brisbane where he gives the 100 points or something, you know, back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was obsessed with his work too.
Yeah.
I'll probably walk out of his seminar today if he said the same shit. But back then I was just like, this guy's incredible, you know?
This is the code.
This is it. Yeah.
So yeah, I've had similar variations of, you know, fitness businesses and some really fucking successful ones down in Melbourne, but some fucking flops. It's really funny, isn't it?
I just had some interesting. All I listened to for a while was Brad Sugars. But
it's interesting. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I just needed someone to tell me what to do, and I'd go and do it as hard as I could. But it was that desire to be like, I need to follow someone, you know? And I think it really hurt me early on because I think it took me away from like trusting myself. Yeah. Because that came a lot later. Yeah.
I fully agree with that. I think a lot of my friends now will you know, my friends from back then will talk shit about me in that era because I was 25, I was dressing like a 55-year-old dude. And I was like hanging out with these guys like in their 50s and like I kind of lost myself because I was looking for a path to follow, but so much so that I like just lost who I was. Or didn't even know who I was, you know, in that age. So I think I'd be annoyed at the 25-year-old me today, you know, just be real, dude. Just have a chat, you know. You're not Brad Sugars.
So where did this start to open up for you? Just the authentic part, the be real part. Where did that start to get some evidence of that?
Well, I think it was post-divorce, sitting with my therapist for 2 years.
Yep.
So now I'm 30 at this stage.
Yep.
And the divorce happened. It also coincided with the closure of that gym. And I would jump into other relationships, but I would lie in those relationships.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, to pretend to be someone I wasn't or to not be real with something happening in my life.
Yep.
And I think the root belief was like, I'm unlovable just as I am, or I'm unlovable if I'm flawed.
Yeah.
So everything was great always, even when like, you know, that meme of like the guy mowing the lawns and the house is burning.
Doesn't help that you've always got immaculate hair as well. Let's be real.
Most of the comments I get when I do like the Q&A thing on Instagram is like, how do I get your hair? Or like, dudes, or when I used to run a lot of ads for the business coaching stuff, it'd be mostly bald men talking shit about my hair. I was like, I can't help it. But
Can't
yeah.
help I'm just
But yeah, maybe that hasn't helped. The hair's been a curse, perhaps.
But yeah, this sounds like a bit of a mask was on.
Yep.
Mm.
Chronically. And I even to my mates as well, but I think for some reason I hid that more with relationships I was in, thinking, yeah, I needed to be perfect to be loved.
Yep.
To
be perfect to be loved.
And the thing that dropped with my therapist was he put it in like a screenwriting perspective. Is like all these characters we love have manufactured flaws to make them more human. You know, if they're like, he gave the example of a lot of male heroes are orphans.
Yep.
Batman, James Bond, Harry Potter, because it makes them immediately flawed and relatable. And he said, like in the, was it Stephen Lee, the comic book writer? Spike Lee.
Yeah.
With the early, you know, Supermans or the early comics that characters that he wrote, they all had massive flaws. And that kind of was like a thing that dropped for me, you know, like.
It's a great frame.
Yeah. Because at the time I was, you know, watching the James Bond movies and probably watching Suits and like all those characters, right? These like male models, they're all looking back. They're all, if they're too perfect, they're fucking unrelatable.
Yeah.
But I was trying to be too perfect with all my shit together and this like overly nice guy because I just wanted to be loved, you know?
What was that like inside for you? Just that the efforting involved in trying to be perfect.
It's really fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
To keep this act up, really. And also to remember, like, what little white lie did I tell? And you had to fucking run these stories, you know, and remember them all. So it took a bit of, or it took the rock bottom to like realize that, you know. I think post-divorce, post-gym, I went back to this one-on-one PT in a commercial gym at Fitness First, and I was going out by myself on a Tuesday night in Broadbeach, partying with like 18-year-olds. It was hospitality night because I remember because they would all go out Tuesday night and like and I'd have PT sessions at 5 a.m. What the fuck am I doing? And a mate said to me like, dude, this isn't you. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like quite defensive with him and blocked his number. And
yeah, right.
At the time.
Yep.
But now I thank him. You know, I went for a surf with him yesterday morning and he was one dude who was just honest with me. And he's like a day one, like I knew him since grade 2. But it took that, and I did have a wake up to myself moment. Like, what the fuck am I solo drinking on a Tuesday night and going out? What the fuck am I doing?
Yep. These are not great signs.
No. And in my head, I was like making pretty good money as a one-on-one PT again.
Yep.
You know, a facility can be 24/7 with shit going wrong. I'd turn up, take my clients, go home. But it was like, it was like a moment that I wouldn't want my kids to have seen. I just wasn't proud of the dude that I was, you know?
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Such a North Star, isn't it?
Big time. But
and I just before we keep going, like the value of bottoming out in regards to like the impact of life direction that has. We don't want it to happen, but fuck, there's some gold on the other side. You know, that real like come to Jesus moment.
Yeah. I think there's gold, and for me I was like, you know, this is a good way to say this. I think there's gold if you stop and actually reflect in it, and I wasn't at first. Like the marriage ended or was ending and I like immediately was in a relationship.
Yep.
And with that relationship, like when that ended, which was going to after a couple of months, I was like heartbroken. But it was actually just the first time I stopped and thought about the marriage, because
Yeah,
I went
right.
straight into the next,
Yep.
pretty much straight into this little fling. But it wasn't until I stopped and actually felt that. And probably the first time I cried at that stage in over 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Um, but just, so yeah, for me at least, the rock bottom was valuable, but it was only actually once I stopped and
Yep.
was just honest with myself and took some time to fucking reflect
Yep.
and not distract.
Yep. Yeah, that's the scary part, isn't it? That's why people stay on the second last rung rather than actually bottoming out. It's like, I can hang on and keep going. I can deflect. Yeah.
I was pretty good at deflecting and distracting, and
Yeah.
again, looking on the surface, like full client roster and things always looked pretty good, but it's just like artificial veneer or this mask on top,
Yeah. So I'm hearing in that it wasn't a matter of it wasn't a matter of sitting back into deep feelings. It was more about getting on and distracting and being busy and that side of it.
Mm.
And then what changed? Like you said, you had a couple of years of therapy. How did that impact that dynamic?
It was incredibly valuable for me, to see. I think at first it was weekly with him, and just what was the question? How did it impact?
Yeah, what impact did it have on that scenario of I'm just going to busy myself rather than feel what's going on?
I think through the help of those sessions, I realized that this is just unsustainable.
Yeah.
From the age of 18 until that point, so for 12 years at that point, I was like racing to prove and rushing to prove something that I realized I didn't actually have to.
Yeah, that's big, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think one of the things that dropped was like, well, if people love you for only what you've achieved, but not when that's gone, like, do they actually really
Yeah. Who's
love
the
you?
version of me that they're loving?
For sure.
Yeah.
And do I want to have to keep masking forever so I get that love? Sounds fucking exhausting to me.
Yeah.
But once, I don't think it was quite this one line in the sand. I think it was an unraveling in a process, but I just started to feel lighter and started to laugh and smile and cry and actually feel shit,
Yep.
I remember, and, men's circles since, they often start with a check-in, but the therapist would be like, what are you feeling today? I was like, I don't actually know. And you have to get out the emotion wheel.
Pick one.
To a 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like I had one thing I always felt, but I couldn't even communicate how I was feeling.
Yeah.
I was so removed from that. And you might see that with guys in circles.
I just think it's common.
Yeah.
And then I had a version of that too. Like, happy or neutral were the accepted feelings in our family.
Mm.
And if they're not happy, and I've said on this podcast a heap, it's like, if it's not happy or neutral, it's not explicit, but it's like, go and sort your shit out and come back out when we're happy or neutral.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I think one of the things that for me, I think is the memories I have as a child, like maybe I've softened them or maybe I've sharpened them, but the memory I have of my dad was like, man, he's volatile. And sometimes he'd come home. I have massive respect for him now. Like, he was driving we lived in Currumbin to Brisbane every day. He did it for 20 years.
Yep.
Back, it was a single lane motorway. And I went to double, and like, it was a lot. Some days he'd get home at 6, some days 8 with traffic. And some days he'd walk in and literally throw his briefcase. Other times he'd walk in with a joke. And we were always like, how's he going to be? How's he going to react? Yep. But one of the things I remember is, in my head, I always thought he was overly emotional. Like, sometimes we'd be driving to school and he would tell a story and be brought to tears. And I was like, man, he's way too emotional for me. So I think me shutting that off was trying not to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's always be happy. Everything's always great. So
interesting how, like, regardless of which direction, our parents shape us just by being them, and we make we create beliefs around both sides. Like I want to be like that part of my dad, and then I don't want to be like that part of my dad. It's like that compliance defiance thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like this one had this one thread had a pretty big knock on in your 20s, yeah.
Huge.
Mm.
Huge knock on. So actually also what came out of that was getting to know my dad again.
How good.
So we started having a weekly Friday morning coffee catch up.
Yep.
And we were from the age of, I was 13 when my parents broke up, but from 13 to 23, maybe even this was 30, so like a long time. Like we didn't really have a relationship.
Yep.
So that was huge to reach out and to initiate that, and then we did that.
So you initiated that?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So I'd moved to Brisbane.
Yep.
What I thought was for a fresh start was probably just to run away from some shit on the Gold Coast. But I also wanted to be close enough to my kids. But yeah, so Friday morning would be a Friday morning coffee. And it was a really beautiful time to get to know him, to see him more than twice a year.
Yeah. What do you appreciate about your dad? Now that you know him a little bit better and you're a little bit more mature and you see these different sides of him, what do you appreciate about him?
He's a really thoughtful man.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's incredibly hardworking. But yeah, I think he's like a sweet, thoughtful guy.
Yep.
Really think of things, and that might look like he'll think of something in a conversation and follow up or send something or share something. And he's a big writer, so he might write something after we've caught up. And he will drop anything to my sister lives on the coast as well, but he lives in Brisbane still. He'll drop anything to be with us and never missed anything. And
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. But I was like, I didn't want to see that earlier either, Yeah. He actually, I told this story on a yacht last week, and my girlfriend loves these card games.
Yeah.
Like We're Not Really Strangers, and there's one from not Brené Brown, but something similar, like these conversation cards. And one of the things was like, tell a story you never told before about something about an important date. And the story was that for my whole life I've said birthdays don't matter to me, but that was actually the day that Dad left on my birthday when my parents split up. And I remember waking up as this 12 or 13-year-old boy, like super excited, and walk downstairs and like Mum's in tears. Dad's car's gone. No mention of my birthday. So from then on, I've just been like, well, fuck it. No one cares about my birthday, seriously, obviously, so I'm just going to not mention it to anyone. And that that was last week on the boat, but I hadn't thought about that since I was 13.
Yeah. And it's so real how these moments imprint us,
Hmm.
And it's just a story that belongs there, and we feel it's a part of us. Yeah, it's like the birthday gift no one wants.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot in that. I feel, and maybe it's in the circles that I'm in, but some people often talk a bit of shit about classic talk therapy. But for me, it was incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
That 2-year journey. I think we started weekly, then went fortnightly, then maybe a monthly at the end. And in the end, he was like, I don't want to see you anymore. Like, we're good here.
Yeah.
Come for a tune up if you need. But like, in the way he operated, he's like, we're complete.
Go out into the world.
Yeah. Go and implement.
I think that part's really important. That, because for me, under that is this value of interdependence, like go out and be your person, be the person that you are, rather than the reliance or the codependence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a big one. So what does life look like now for you? And again, it's that same question of like, I'm curious about the external, but I'm more curious about the internal. Yeah.
I think for so many of my decisions used to be based on what other people would think.
Yeah.
So at age 30, I'd been a PT for 12 years by then. The most common question I'd get from people is, "Oh, you're still doing that fitness thing?"
Yeah. Ouch.
You know? And I don't think people say that about a lawyer or a doctor, like,
No.
"You still doing that little medicine thing?"
Yeah.
Uh, so in my head, I think I thought I had to graduate from that. So I kind of accidentally became a business coach for PTs and gym owners.
Yeah.
And that went well. Like, it actually was very simple. I found it very easy and it grew very quickly.
Yep.
But a couple of years ago, I was like, is this actually what I want to be doing? Because it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so I've come full circle back to coaching fitness, essentially.
What were the parts of the business coaching that wasn't what you wanted to do?
That was?
That wasn't.
I wasn't. What I loved about the fitness and still do is through some simple structure, some consistency, I would see their life really change.
Yeah.
And their family's life change. I don't know if I felt the same way through helping people with their business.
Yep.
And I understand at first, when I first started, I was with an organization that we helped open about 40 gyms.
Yep.
And found that really, like, I love the impact of that, because I figured if each gym gets to 100 members,
Carries on,
their kids, their wife, whatever, their husband, the impact's huge. But I didn't get the same, I guess I didn't feel deeply as much as the impact I can make through helping people with their fitness.
Yep.
And with their health.
Yep.
And I just got sick of talking about business and funnels and content, you know. I really got sick of it. And obviously that kind of content exploded. It was everywhere. And I was just sick of talking about the same thing.
Yep.
And I was like, what do I really love? Fitness. And why did I actually leave fitness? Is because I didn't see, as a 30-year-old, I didn't see a path for someone in their 40s or 50s and beyond to teach about this stuff. But now I think it actually matters more that the person isn't a 21-year-old influencer, but someone who's maybe gone through some shit.
Yeah.
And can help others navigate real life.
Yeah.
Without a 100-step morning routine. Like, what's a busy parent with 2 kids under 5? How are they going to turn their health around?
Yeah.
I think the fact that I had some experience going through that is actually more valuable.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it was me wanting to prove to those people that I used to know, who would see once a year, who would ask me, "You still doing fitness?" I want to say, well, now I'm actually coaching the fitness people. It felt like a status thing, I think.
Yeah, of course. I went through the same thing again. It was like, did all the gym stuff, all the personal training stuff, had a mobile personal training franchise. And then from that, moved to the business coaching in the fitness industry because the transition was smooth. And there was that part of me that's like, you're still a personal trainer. You're still just a personal trainer. Let's add the just in there. And then not long after we were hanging out for that interview, I ended up selling that business because I was coaching a bunch of CrossFit affiliates and they were just having fun. And they were super engaged and the model worked. And I was like, I reckon I could do that and I would fucking love it. So that's what I did, and just sold the coaching business and opened the CrossFit gym. And
where was that gym?
Like in the industrial estate in Melbourne.
Is it still going in some capacity?
No. I sold it to Amanda Allen, who had she'd bought the CrossFit down in Byron Bay.
That's why that name rings a bell. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think our flavors were very different, to say the least. She was a competitive. She ran a competitive CrossFit gym. I was all about the playlist and the people having a good hour of their day and moving. And so, yeah, it's interesting to speak to you because like we have these parallels, and I know for me, like I burnt out in that. I think I was 6 or 7 years, maybe. Yeah, about 6 years. And I completely burnt myself out because I was so driven to succeed. And underneath it was just to make my dad fucking proud, which he already was. But I look back on those times and it's been a complete redirection. And I've learned from that and realizing at 40 that I actually don't know myself very well. So the last 8 years have been there's been a bit of health stuff, but there's been a lot of getting to know myself, getting to know my patterns, my gold, but also just the little bit of shittiness that floats around. And yeah, so
is your dad still here?
No, he's passed. He passed 3 years ago. So we got to have a really nice. I drove down with the dog, and I had my van, and I stayed with him for a week, not knowing he was going to pass. He died pretty suddenly, and we had a week where we got to have conversations that I didn't want to not have in his lifetime. And I just didn't know. I'm like, he's got 10 years, but I just want to have these conversations. And yeah, we got to speak some words to each other that were really meaningful, about this kind of stuff, this like desire to make him proud, and hearing from him for the first time that he's literally always been proud of me no matter what, and telling me why. I'm just like, And then like a week later, he passed away with a pretty aggressive heart attack, stroke. So yeah, we lost him pretty quickly. But I'm just super grateful of that time. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting. Like, I work with people now, coaching, and it's mental emotional work, and people don't come to that for fun. They don't come to it. They come to it because something serious is going on, kind of thing. And there's a little wry smile under there for me that I try not to let out, because I know that some of the stuff that's happening is like turning point material for where these people are redirecting to. And it's a similar thing. It's like, because I have had that experience, I can see that this is going to be a fucking massive part of your life. And let's get through it. Let's resource you. Let's do the things we need to do. And then what does it look like to choose a different direction? And yeah. Yeah, so I'm a fan of the bottom out, to be to be blunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to my first mentor who would become my father-in-law, I remember as I was going through that, one of the things he said to me was like, Pete, I don't trust anybody in business who hasn't lost it all or nearly lost it all. And that makes so much more sense now looking back. That someone who's maybe just had this perfect run, maybe got lucky with timing or the economy or something, in a business sense, but also like just, it's like the sailor who's gone through some storms, like I trust that guy more.
Can get us through.
And that's why we have elders or people who should have wisdom from that. It's like we should trust that more. They can get us through, exactly. Versus the guy who's never gone through that. I was going to say something then. One of the exercises from my therapist was to call my dad and to say, I'm sorry and I forgive you. But then to say why, like to go into those reasons.
Yeah.
And that was a hugely powerful call. But I thought it was for me, but also for him to hear that, And I thought the I forgive you part would be the hardest, but the I'm sorry part was harder to say.
What were you sorry about?
Until that call, I'd blamed him for my parents' divorce.
Yep.
Like solely him. And I saw mum as this damsel in distress, That was the main thing for how I acted and how I judged, and my, I guess, tainted memories as a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it was just the judgment that I had towards him, like, how could you leave, and how could you go to Brisbane, and how could you not come to these things, and how come you didn't come to my formal all the time? And all these things that I held on to, you know.
Yeah.
But also, he's a flawed dude, like we
Yeah.
all are, and
Yeah.
he holds so much shame and regret around all that, you know. But I think, yeah, it was really powerful to him to receive that call. It was big, man. I think I left his office, made the call in my car. I think I just sat there for like an hour or two, just taking it in, you know.
I'm just thinking as a dad
Mm,
who's also separated from my original marriage, and what it would be like to hear that from my son. I've had a similar conversation, slightly different, but just to, yeah,
hmm,
because of that shame and guilt of, you know, the role that I'll say I played in the separation, but whatever his version is,
mm,
you can't escape. You can't escape unscathed in a separation and not feel some guilt and shame, you
mm,
know,
mm,
of the fairy tale not working out. But to hear that from your son, you're like, what a fucking gift.
yeah.
Mm.
So there's I hadn't thought about that call for a while either, but yeah, that was actually the therapist told me to do it and I didn't, and then the next meeting, he's like, you need to do it now because I had avoided it,
Yeah.
and that was immediately in the car afterwards. But yeah, he was just going through his own shit, you know. He used alcohol to cope and
Yep.
more work and
So how does this translate downstream for you? Like,
mm,
you've got twins, 12-year-olds,
mm-hmm,
boy and a girl.
mm-hmm,
How has it impacted the dad that you want to be to them?
mm.
Like, what does that look like?
They say I'm cringe now with the new vocabulary they have, but like I'm constantly telling them and text them how much I love them and how why I'm proud of them, and
Yep.
just proud for who they are, you know, not necessarily achievements.
Pause. Just that.
Mm,
I'm fucking proud of you.
mm,
You know? It's like giving the gift that you wanted to be given.
yeah,
Let's not jump over that.
and I think I want to be to the point where they think I say too much, you know. So with my parents, the conversations I had going through this therapy, they're like, "Well, Pete, I've told you I love you." I'm like, "Yeah, you think you have."
Yeah.
You know, and I know that they do, but it's like I think to hear it and to see it written or to hear it said is a different thing, you know.
Mm.
So it's you know, you're a few steps ahead of this as a parent, but this year I've been demoted to dad, no longer daddy.
Ah,
You
nice.
know, it wasn't nice. It was actually hard for me to
Oh,
hear.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably a good thing, but like that it's graduated, but I found that difficult.
Mm.
You know, so I didn't think that would end. You
Yep.
know, now it's just dad. And the other day, just by habit, my daughter's on the phone because it's holidays at the moment to her friends on speaker. And I said, "Oh, did mummy?" And she's like, "Dad, it's mum." I was like, "Oh, sorry. Did mum do this thing?" Um, but yeah, I'm definitely no perfect parent, but I'm just trying to be as present as I can. And I try to, and this is the co-parenting thing as well, but when we're switching, if I'm picking them up or doing something, I try have this period of just collecting my shit before I'm with them a bit, you know, like just a few
Yeah.
moments of silence, or maybe it's a meditation if I feel I need it, but just, yeah, trying to be aware of the state I'm, you know,
Yeah.
coming in
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
And I've said to them, hey, I'm a bit whatever today. I'm not at my best, but I still try to be like an empty vessel as I go in there, not just
Yeah.
task switching or.
But even that first part of just speaking to, this is what's happened. This is, you know, whether it's
Mm,
ambiguous or not, but just being like giving voice to it.
mhm.
It's a gift, you know.
Yeah.
Mm. I I had the experience of being Finn's co-driver for his first experience driving on his L's yesterday.
Hmm.
And we're both pretty cruisy. And we went out the back of Merbar after school pickup and, you know, got him set up. And I was like, I noticed that my hands were like squeezing together. And I'm like,
Hmm.
we got it done. He did really well, and it was a cool experience and a bit surreal. And then we were sitting there having dinner last night. I'm like, how was that for you? He goes, I didn't realize how nervous I was. Like my body was like really tense. And I'm like, same. But even just to be able to have that conversation, to be like, yeah, me too. You know, because my dad was just my dad, and he went to work and was busy, and we talked about footy and sport and business. But I'd never know how he felt. Yeah. So it's just it's nice to hear more of that. And I think it's a bit generational too.
Yeah.
Everyone's got some fucking trauma that they're trying to hunt for.
Yeah, man. I went to a Bucks at the start of the year, and I told my dad that no one there is drinking. He couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was like, "What do you?" He's like, "What do you mean? There's no beers at all." I'm like, "No, I'm not really drinking right now. I'm not really drinking full stop." And he's like, "Yeah, I get that you're not drinking, but like, what about everyone else?" I'm like, "No, there's no beers there." He just couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
He still brings it up.
Yeah.
He must be picturing this hippie commune or something we're all going to. But like, I'm like, yeah, Dad, that's not really a thing in this circle, you know?
Well, imagine what my dad would think about. He lives on a farm. That's his farm up there. And his son's running a men's circle every week.
Talking about feelings.
About fucking feelings.
What do you mean?
You're a little freak. And he did such a good job of completely not understanding and being supportive. You know, I'm sure it's great. You know?
Yeah.
But just like straight over his head.
For sure.
What the fuck is that?
I still think Dad, like, my parents both don't quite get the internet thing. Like, so people pay you, people send you money online to receive your help. I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. You know? Speaking, you mentioned the podcast before with your mate. I did a podcast style, like a chat with my dad and recorded it. And it also didn't work, the recording. But just to hear, like, his parents came out here on a boat from Ireland. He had been conceived, so he was born here. 9 weeks it took them. And they were meant to go to Melbourne for some arranged work for my pop. He was like a steel worker. But they had engine trouble, so they just dropped him at Sydney. I was like, well, you're going to live here now. Like, that's not that long ago. Yeah. 2 generations ago. And that's just a wild concept.
Yeah.
That he's one of 5. So he was the youngest. So 4 young kids on a boat for 9 weeks. I don't imagine it was a luxury accommodation. I'm like, that is just bonkers to me.
Yeah, imagine doing that with your kids now.
I know it. Yeah. And that's only 2 generations ago. But, you know, like...
Bit different to the boat you were just on.
Totally different. Totally different. So it was really special to actually sit down and hear that stuff properly, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't have questions per se, but I was curious about, like, yeah, what it was like for him as a kid with 4 siblings, 1 of 5, and it's So I also understand why they wouldn't get a men's circle, you know, like that generation.
Yeah,
like, fully. What do you mean? You stop and talk about feelings.
Yeah. That was the pub on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Without the feelings.
After 8 beers and driving home.
Yeah, it's wild. What's exciting you at the moment, and whether that's in this moment or looking forward to what's happening coming up? Like, what's exciting in your world?
My immediate thought was some things with my kids. My son's really into fishing.
Yep.
Like fishing content.
Oh, really?
They know his name at BCF, the fishing store. Like, he's into fishing.
Yeah.
He knows all the knots and lures, and we will fish. It's school holidays right now, so we'll fish a few times this week. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. And
with my daughter, she's really into dance and movement, but like trampolining. So we've enrolled into a bounce membership at the trampoline park with coaching.
Nice.
So we're going to go 2 or 3 coaching sessions a week and learn flips and stuff together. And neither of them want to do the other sport. So it's great to have this one-on-one time.
Yeah, perfect.
With things that they both love. So I'm really excited for both of those.
Yeah.
Can't say I've loved fishing, but I love the quality time with my son.
Yeah.
And also, like, I went about a month ago, we did our first trampoline session, and I've never been so sore. Like in my traps.
Really?
I think because I think you get the arms up a lot,
Yeah, right.
like extending up for like before a flip, and like my obliques. But looking around, all the other dads my age, like one of them did his knee, one guy rolled his ankle, one guy did a hammy, and the ambulance came. I'm like, man,
Jesus.
this is rare. I think for but like I'm excited for both of those. I'm really excited for business right now too because I feel it's just fucking aligned.
Yep.
I'm still just a PT, but I'm fucking stoked about that. You know, helping people.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot to be. I also feel really excited in my own health and potential there. And like I said, pre-recording, like spending time at a hospital, I think gives you a newfound gratitude for just being fully able-bodied.
Yeah.
And the privilege and like how grateful I am for that.
Yep.
So yeah, those right things immediately are getting me pretty turned on.
Yeah. Yeah. How much of that old Pete that wanted to make his dad proud, how much of him is still kicking around? In amongst like what you've just explained about what's exciting with all of that.
Yeah, there's definitely a part of me that's still he's worried what people think, and sometimes that's like louder than others.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a stronger feeling than other days, and it's just a reminder to come back to the stuff and the tools that what I'm trying to say. Just come back to like it's okay to be yourself, dude. Like people will either like you or not, but you can't act your whole life.
Yeah. And is that hard? Because you've got a pretty good social media presence. I'm sure you get exposed to people that don't know you. Does that get rubbed up against with that worrying what people think?
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I've cracked content because I still feel that when I'm recording, there's some kind of filter or mask.
Oh, it's fucking hard not to.
Yeah, and people will say like, a lot of my clients come from. I met them somewhere in person.
Yeah.
Not many come that I've never met just through socials. So that tells me that I'm better in person. Like something is more real and genuine in person. So I still find it hard to turn that off, you know?
Yep.
I think it's getting better, but yeah, just being more me, you know? But I sometimes see the phone or the camera and put on this thing. I don't know what it is. I find it tricky.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense as well. And if you're listening, go and follow Pete on Instagram. I'll put his link in the show notes. It's a fucking good follow because he adds value to your life without selling you shit. And then if you want more help, you can get his coaching service and get some fucking support around being really healthy. And what I love about your content and just the way you work in general is you focus on doing the basics really well. So like your consistency and not making it crash dieting or this big thing. It's like we're just going to do the right things consistently over a period of time. Not a fucking good message to send out into the world.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. I'm also curious what you're excited about.
My partner Jo's coming home on Saturday. She's been gone for a month doing a locum up in Gladstone. And the first couple of days, I'm like, oh, this is rad. You know, I can kind of do whatever I need to do here. And about the fourth day, I was like, this is fucked.
Only 26 days to go.
And then, so she's home for a week and then she's back up for another month. But yeah, there's some real beauty in missing someone. So it sucked, and I'm really excited for her to be driving home on Saturday. And we get a week together. It's her birthday, and we've got some stuff planned. And then the week after that is a week with Finn. We're going to go camping. So I've actually got some really nice stuff over the next couple of weeks. just essentially just hanging out with my favorite humans. And I think what I've learned is I used to have the ability to spread myself because I wanted validation. I'd spread myself quite thin in trying to touch as many different people, and not literally, but just in conversation and connection. And I've really learned about depth of connection rather than width, you know. And it doesn't take that much for me to be content if I can just get the right amount of time with the right people. So it doesn't have to look crazy. Like Finn and I will literally get on hip camp and find somewhere to camp for 4 nights, 3 nights. We'll take the dog, we'll take the chessboard, take our books, we'll hike. Like it's build fires.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I've been on the hustle a little bit in the last probably 8 weeks, you know, assignments to be done and therapy stuff and work. And so, I'm giving myself permission to just slow down a little bit in these school holidays. And so I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about my fitness at the moment. Just come off the back of an 8-week block and new program. My food's pretty locked in. Haven't been drinking at all the last month. So just feeling the energy of that, like that momentum piece around like, oh yeah, this like when I lock in, this can flow quite well. Yeah. And just, get to have these fucking cool conversations and just do what makes me happy in the world rather than what I think everyone else wants. And that realization is pretty exciting.
Huge.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I feel like that's a nice place to
wrap it.
To end on our excitement.
Thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate you coming